Hey, this is Subspace Transmissions. I'm Tyler.
And I'm Cam.
Cam, on our latest episode of the podcast, we really went into the evolution of the Ferengi and made us wonder what the future are of the Ferengi.
Because the past didn't make any sense.
But you know, we had a lot of fun jumping around and building out the mythology of this particular species, and it made us wonder what the future is going forward, or maybe on Star Trek Discovery, or even on the Picard spin-off.
Right.
Why don't we start with the first one here? Star Trek Discovery, it's already on the air. You and I were kind of trying to devise a way of how they would make an appearance on the show that actually makes sense, because we do know from Next Generation that, well, humans didn't officially encounter them until TNG, although they did have that sneaky kind of encounter on Enterprise.
Yes,
which they
the
didn't...
episode Acquisition, which is... Yeah, even Brandon Braga was like, that was a bad idea.
Yeah, but anyway, so what we do want to think about is how would they appear on Discovery? Because I honestly think that they do want to bring these aliens back. They're so iconic.
Yeah.
Fans recognize them, and a lot of non-fans recognize them as well. Mm-hmm. So how do you bring them back? And I think we've got two ideas. Why don't we start with the Klingons? I don't think you need them interacting with the Discovery crew. I think that L'Rell and Ash Tyler are going to be off doing their own thing in season 2. And I think that actually gives, rise to the opportunity to bring Ferengi in to a certain degree. But what do you think the idea is that you were actually proposing on the podcast?
I got 2 words for everyone. Harry Mudd. You have him as this outsider of society. And, it makes sense that he's a guy who's all about profit, and so he might run into some Ferengi. I think that's a good way to do it, in that Harry Mudd's not going to be telling the Federation, hey, guys, I ran into this alien species, and they're so odd.
I filed an official report. Here you go.
Harry Mudd doesn't like paperwork.
No, so I think it could be totally viable that it's kind of lost in translation. That the first official human encounter wasn't for another 120 years on Next Generation. Sense. But let's think about this way. When we last left the Ferengi, their society was about to undergo giant transformation under Grand Nagus Rom, of all people. If we have a Picard spinoff, Kim, would you want to see the Ferengi brought back? And I don't know, I guess just reflecting the changes that their society likely underwent following the end of Deep Space Nine 20 years ago.
I would be very interested in seeing more of Ferenginar, because, call it the pessimist in me, Tyler, but I have a feeling like if you put Rom in charge, he's going to push for progress. But does it whiplash back the other way for a while? Like, is it going to be a smooth transition? I would
say it should not be a smooth transition, but it would be a bit of a betrayal to where we left that character and his arc ultimately if he failed. We also have a very important...
But is it like maybe a 3 steps forward, 1 or 2 steps back?
Yeah, I could totally buy that, but would it be just interesting to see the Ferengi where we last left them? I would say no. Let's bring them, to the next step, and I think that's going to open up better possibilities. The other thing that you brought up on the podcast is, what does a character like Nog represent, where he joins Starfleet, and is that going to lead to more Ferengi wanting to be a part of the Federation, especially when you consider the reforms that are being enacted on their own society? So, I don't know, would you be up for seeing Ferengi in the background of whatever ships are depicted on the Picard spinoff?
I would love it, and I think it would be really interesting to have it be not necessarily like a big spotlighted thing, to just see Ferengi operating in daily aspects of Starfleet, daily life. Like, I would love to just see, Nog was the first. Like, he was the one that's going to get the big spotlight, but... what happens when just a random Ferengi comes into engineering, for example? I really like the idea of it being more normalized, as opposed to being like, here's the special alien that comes in and fulfills that role.
Okay, but my biggest heartbreak would be if we find out that Nog's job in the new Enterprise is the bartender. He's the new Guinan.
He's wearing the same hat?
Yeah. That would be the ultimate step back.
Do you think Nog is ever acknowledged in the future of Star Trek as a character who was important?
I would hope so. In that, it doesn't have to be like a Nog showcase episode.
Why not?
Well, I would love it, personally. But I would be surprised if we don't get a reference to one Captain Nog. He gave me this letter of recommendation. I think that would be doing that character a lot of justice.
Well, the thing about Nog, too, is he's playing a very important role, much like Worf did. The problem is that TNG and the Klingons are a lot more popular than the Ferengi, so I don't think show creators are as beholden towards representing the Ferengi progress and having Nog there as they are towards Worf. Like, that is a character they're going to bow down to every single time. Whereas Nog, I don't know.
So, you know what? I tell you what, if Michael Dorn eventually gets his Captain Worf spinoff, you'll have Nog as his first officer. It'll be comedy gold, people.